The Ouyen United Kangas report, and that's a big one this week because the Kangas got season on the line, and joining us, the coach is back. Scotty Grigg is with us. G'day, Scotty. How are you?
Good, Flowman, yourself?
Yeah, real good. And I'll tell you what, that fella from out at Underbull, he might have just gone missing again, but I'm really happy we've got you, the coach, because she's on this weekend. It's a massive game for you blokes, but I suppose to preface that, had a lot of injuries out last week, and it was Irimple 12-17 to Ouyen United 7-6 at home at Blackburn Park. What was the feeling after the match on that? I mean, they did outplay you after half-time.
Yeah, it was the second and third quarter. It was a draw at quarter time, and they just completely outplayed us in the second and third quarter. And we really had a strong emphasis in the last quarter, not to only outscore them, but to get the ball moving in the method that we want to do. And the boys were able to do that in the last quarter, so it just gave us some much-needed momentum to take into not only this week, but the week beyond, because we just need to start banking a few wins in a row again.
Yeah, you're going to have to. This was a good performance. I've been talking last week to Andrew about young Joel Grace. He was third best. Corey Gregson played a very good game, probably one of his best since coming over from South Australia. Dallas Willsmore in great form. Brad Summer-Hayes, the veteran, he continues to play good footy. Sammy Meads had a good season too, kicked a couple, and Jamal Daly also added two, and Dale Willsmore a couple. And Billy Katanak, the young man, he is just starting to find his feet, and at senior levels in the best players.
Yeah, he is, and he was acknowledged in our best players, not purely on his last quarter, but he really stood up, and through courage and effort, he was able to execute 5 tackles and 2 really telling tackles through the corridor that resulted in the ball obviously turning over and going our way. So, yeah, we're just giving him some acknowledgement and reward for consistent effort and courage.
Great stuff from the young man. Other matches in senior football, Mildura were too good for Merbein. Quick comment, 14-8 to 9-10.
Yeah, Merbein's ruckman pulled out with groin soreness before the game, but it sounds like it was a hotly contested game, and Merbein, they haven't been losing by many margins, so they've only won 3 games for the year, I think, but they've been competitive in every game they're playing. So, yeah, we're up for a fight tomorrow.
You certainly are. South lost by 7 goals to Wentworth. Wentworth 14-12 to 7-5. But I reckon Wentworth, who needs some percentage, probably would be disappointed with that.
Yeah, especially with Brandy coming back and Fergus Watts. They had a couple of really good players come back to their team. I thought they would have won by more, but maybe Mildura are digging their heels in, Mildura South.
I have dug the heels in. Robin Bay Euston 13-14 to Imperials 5-9. I'm told a bit that it was tough for the Imperials club that just to get players on the road to Robinvale as we're getting later in the season, they're struggling to get their numbers.
Yeah, we played them a couple of weeks ago and they were struggling for numbers in the reserves. But most clubs are, especially through June and July, so I'm sure with Matty D, who's continuing to work with the group that he's got there, they'll knuckle down and continue to fight for their first win.
I will. I want to go to the reserves grade for your club and have a look at this game because you went up against Irimple and they led at half-time and really just run out of some legs towards the second half because Irimple got them 12-60 to 5-11-41, but that's a credible effort from your twos.
Yeah, just with the injuries, not just at senior level, but through the club. The reserves just probably failed to run that game out due to playing some guys that we don't see on the training track. They tend to fill a void on a Saturday if we need them, and unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, we've probably needed more than we should have required, just through injuries and unavailability. But, yeah, the reserves, we get a few back in the seniors this week, which helps the reserves out because we've got to push a few boys back from senior footy back to reserves for once this week.
And that's great. Simon Jardine, the tyre boy, he was in good form. And Ethan Munro booted 2. Nick Vine good with a couple. Young Ben Nile, he was very good. And Jackson Plant and Kyle Spawn, the Murrayville boy, very, very good in the end for that game. And down into the 14s, they've been really, really good. The Irimple have always been the measuring stick of junior football is the way to put it. But your lads put up a really good showing in this game.
Yeah, they did. I don't think they've had a game where they haven't been competitive. There might have been one early in the year. I think it was actually against South Mildura. So they've been competitive in every game. And once again, they were there to give themselves a chance to win it early in the last quarter. But just a bit of class shone through with Irimple's juniors in the last quarter.
Yeah, they had a couple of very good players, but Finn Brown, Adam Grace, Charlie Floyd, Calais McKenzie and Kai Weathers were the better players for the Ouyen United Kangas in that game. And meanwhile, in the 12s, we don't get the actual result of the 12s, but we can tell you that the Kangas boys had Harry Mavica, George Scott, Zachary Charles, Hunter Brown and Ollie Brady as the better players in that game. Having a look at this week's matches.
They actually won.
And they got up and won. The boys know, they always know the score, don't they?
They'll tell you.
Very well done. If they've beaten Orimple at under 12s, then that is an absolute coup from the Blackburn Park boys. Great stuff. Let's go now to senior football and this week's matches. So I can tell you what, this is going to be a big weekend of footy. Let's have a look at the matches. I think Redcliffe's get Imperials, even though it's at the Green men's home deck.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, Redcliffe's are still batting for their season and trying to get into the final four. So yeah, I'll pick Redcliffe there.
Wentworth with some players back at George Gordon over there at Denton. They take on Robinvale Euston, who, look, I've been the form side most of the year, apart from, say, Mildura. But Wentworth have just troubled us a little bit, but maybe they'll be better for the run last week, their stars. And will they win at home in an upset?
I think they will, Wentworth, yes.
And Orimple take on South. Bit of one-sided here. South, I think, queuing the rack for the season for them, but Henshelwood Oval being the venue for the Swallows, they should win.
Yeah, Orimple will beat South there, although South, I don't know if they're queues in the rack. I just think with Tyler Curtis taking over, it's given him opportunity to get his teeth into some coaching and continue to work with an undermanned group, but they'll continue to fight.
Yeah, they certainly will. Let's have a look now at the big match, though, the one at Kenny Park, Merbein and Ouyen United. This is kind of the season on the line. In a sense, Merbein are a side that could really trouble Ouyen United and stop your run for finals. You'd have to win this and probably only lose one more game for the rest of the season and rely on other losses in the other clubs and who they play. This is a huge game for you blokes at Merbein.
Oh, it's a really big game. It's a season on the line game. Like you said, if we don't win this one, we'd have to keep winning from there on in and rely on other results. If we can keep winning and get on a run, we won 3 in a row before last week's disappointing effort. But this week's definitely the one that we need to win again to get on the winning list and hopefully get another win before we get a bye.
Yeah. The forward line for you blokes, Billy Katanak, you're using him up forward. Sammy Mead's up there too. They've got some good players like Corey Leckel that runs around in their side. So you're going to have some matchups to have a think about here.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get 2 or 3 matchups that we need to put some time into to reduce their impact on the game, and Corey's one of those. But at the same time, we'll be focusing more importantly on our offensive ball movement and who we need to get that ball in the hands of to ensure we're ticking the scoreboard over. And
you've got a couple of players back for this side too, haven't you?
Yeah, we get a few back from injury and a few back from unavailability, so it does strengthen our team senior-wise, mentally, like guys that have got experienced football under their belt. So, yeah, without saying that that's the reason why we can possibly win. We just need a consistent effort from all 22.
And you've got Blake Smith named on the interchange bench. He's one of your juniors coming through. That's a terrific effort from him.
Yeah, so he went back to the reserves for 2 or 3 weeks and it's just been consistent back there. We like the effort that he brings. He's still developing. He's still a bit raw. But these minutes and these games that he's getting under his belt as a 17-year-old are going to be really important for his football going forward. Yeah,
it's going to be a really good match of footy, this one at Merbein. Looking forward, Scotty Grigg, the coach, hearing some good news on the Saturday night for you blokes. If you're going to make your way into finals football for Merbein supporters, well, they've got a chance too to knock off one of the contenders. Redcliffe's might be happy about that as they try and make their way up the ladder into finals contention. It's a great season of Sunraysia. We look forward to your comments again later in the season, Scotty.
Not a problem, mate. See you later.